Hey everyone, it's Semps here from LEGEAR and Australian Defence Apparel. I had the pleasure of speaking with Tara Nicole Jenkins this week about coming out of that post-COVID lack of training, that we've all been exposed to. We haven't had the gyms, we haven't had all the equipment and access that we've normally had historically. So we wanted to talk to Tara about, how training has been affected during COVID for her, and then, some of her thought patterns on what to do coming out of that COVID lockdown. I know myself, I hit the gym for the first time this week when they've opened, and there's been obviously a bit of a depreciation in the ability to train and the outcome. So, it's good to share this dialogue and for people to see, the insight coming from someone like Tara, who's an amazing CrossFit athlete. Further to that, we'd like to introduce her as well as a tactical fitness ambassador here at LEGEAR, and moving forward we'll be speaking to Tara on occasion, and she'll also be showcasing some of the new apparel that we've got coming out that's based into that CrossFit and tactical fitness realm. So, stand by for that. Enjoy the really candid chat that I had with Tara. Tara's an amazing person, and she's also got a policing background. She was with Victoria Police, so yeah, amazing person. I hope you enjoy the recording, and be safe and enjoy getting back into training. Thanks so much for being available to chat this afternoon. It's good to see you, and I hear you're nearly out of lockdown down there in Melbourne.
Yeah, we can do some things this week, but the 22nd, I think gyms will open again.
I bet you can't wait for that.
Oh, yeah, some normality will be good, and just training with lots of other people would be nice too.
Oh, yeah. I think that social interaction is one of the bits that I've missed the most. The gyms sort of opened up here like partially during the week, so I think Tuesday was the first day you could get in, and it was probably actually midday on Monday here in Queensland.
Yeah.
And first session I got in at Elite Military Fitness here on the Goldie with Mandy. It was Tuesday morning. It wasn't pretty because it was that first real session in a real gym. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it would have been tough.
And it's open up fully now, so make you really jealous.
Yeah. I think we're one of the last states to get there, but now we'll just watch what you guys are doing, and then we'll just suffer later.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we're super excited to have you as an ambassador across a few brands, and in that ADA LEGEAR family as well. Like, you come from a law enforcement background, and then you've got this amazing fitness history, CrossFit history especially. And you're just like this really positive, figure for both. I never like to pigeonhole into female male because I think you're just an overall awesome ambassador as a human.
Yeah.
And we're really, really excited to have you, on board, and we're really keen to develop that relationship, especially so that our customers can see, a validated athlete, using some of the gear. It's one thing whether it's special operations with some of our equipment, law enforcement, fire, rescue, corrections. It doesn't matter, where some of our premier products are. We like to have those validated by the best people in those fields, and you're clearly that in the fitness area. So thanks for sort of being involved with us.
Thanks for having me.
No problem at all.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, anytime. So today we'll keep it short for everyone, but one of the apart from me sort of introducing you to LEGEAR customers and ADA customers alike, one of the things I was really keen to sort of talk to you about today was how did you going from like probably full spectrum training prior to COVID, and then you go bang, you can't go to the gym, right? And then and everyone's caught out too, really, as you would have seen by everyone sort of buying right and center kettlebells and TRX.
Yeah.
How did you go from full spectrum training gym to home and, talk us through your transition there, and we'll sort of, maybe I'll ask you questions on how it went, how successful it was as well.
Yeah. Initially, like when it first happened, I didn't realize how long it would go for. So I wasn't really stressed, and I saw that heaps of companies were selling out of equipment, even like Kmart was selling out of kettlebells.
Yeah.
I was lucky enough to be able to take some stuff from the gym home. So I had like some, what did I have? Weight plates, and I had barbells and a couple of sandbags and bits and pieces. So I had stuff at home to sort of get me through the heavy lifting sort of stuff. So initially I was good. I was still motivated, and I actually enjoyed sort of the time away from the gym to have a bit of a break. But I've been through flows, like ups and downs. I was good initially, and then I just got really unmotivated, but I didn't want to lose my fitness because I was meant to be doing a big comp in May. And we were sort of waiting to see if that was still going to happen. So everything kept getting pushed back. So I couldn't afford to lose my fitness in case it was still on.
Yeah.
So I went from lifting heavy and following a program to cutting back a little bit because my body just was, I don't know, I think with the big change, everyone was a bit tired and my body was tired and having to adapt all the time. I didn't cut back training. I still trained for a long time every day, but I just cut back the weights and listened to my body more.
Yeah.
And then I'll get motivated again and want to be really fit and strong, and then it'll disappear. It was just like waves.
Yeah.
But then my job, because I've got people that come out to me to train, is to keep everyone else motivated. So when they're feeling motivated, I felt more motivated. And my thing that I just keep thinking throughout the lockdown is do something. Like I've just tried to do something every day. I've probably lost a bit of strength just because my training hasn't been consistent, because usually we follow a really strict program and I can't do everything because I don't have everything at home. But as long as you can do some lifting and some cardio, like that's better than doing nothing. And I think when the gym's all open and we all go back, that barbell is going to be hard to lift again for everybody for a little while. But everyone's going to be feeling the same. So I've just tried to do a little bit every day, but listen to my body a little bit more than what I usually would.
Well, that's a good thing. You one of the words you just said before, consistency.
Yeah.
Over the years, right? Especially come, like all the training I did, for all my operational requirements. I mean, it was, you and I spoke about it earlier. It's sort of instilled in you a little bit too, to a degree. It's in your DNA, like I was trying to find things to do weights in my garage when I was like 12 or 13.
Yeah.
In an era when it was really nowhere near, it was nowhere near as like accessible as what it is now.
Yeah.
So, I don't know what that is, or that little internal voice too, where it says, you'll be thinking to yourself, oh, that'll do. And then you think, no, don't be soft.
Yeah.
And the other person that knows about it is you.
Yeah.
That voice is the one that's in there going, nah, don't be soft, keep going, and then you override that requirement to sort of, maybe stop training and take the easy way out. So it's like there is some sort of, I don't know, it can definitely get trained into you, that type of thing. But consistency was the word that you were using, and it's like, so even if you're, that's been my key as well. You haven't had access to what you would like, but you've just had that. As long as you're doing something, even if it's just like, I hate to call push-ups putrid, but like just doing some, really basic movements. Manny got me doing. And like my mobility over the years from injury and just some of the real static type of training I used to do, my mobility was affected by it, like, so doing some of that bear crawl into a push-up, into a, you're bringing your knees up into your, so your core's engaged.
Yeah.
I would have laughed at that years ago, but I was doing it.
Yeah.
How's your strength and everything now, like, comparative to where it was, like you had access to, obviously there's, what gym, Moorabbin?
Yeah, CrossFit Moorabbin. That's where I train. Do you mean like my strength pre-COVID to now?
Yeah. Like, have you lost much, or do you?
I've done a few heavy days. Like my percentages are still up there. As in, like, I would be up to 90% of what I can hit for my one. So I'm still really strong, but I just find it fatigues me more. So normally I'd recover from that pretty quickly. If you tell me to pick up a bar again and do it again, I need more downtime between reps. So I've still got the strength, maybe just not like the strength fitness.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's also, I think, too, because I don't really have other people to train with every day. So you don't have that person next to you that's about to pick up the bar and you just want to make sure you do it too. You haven't got that competitiveness, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'd say I've kept strength, just
Yeah.
not like strength endurance as much. Yeah.
What about, for me, it's like, I'll be in there and especially these days, it's all about, I'm not really chasing personal best anymore. It's about, just maintenance and staying really strong. So you're still stronger than most people, but it's just about that maintenance and not being injured or anything as well. Not going, trying to remind myself, don't be stupid.
Yeah.
But when I go to the gym, I'm going to smash out on the rower today, just completely out of sync sometimes. So did you find that not having access to just like random bits of equipment hurt?
Yeah, like as in like hurt my training patterns.
Yeah.
Because one thing, like for me, my weakness in my sport is gymnastics, and now would be a perfect time to practice that. But I don't have a gymnastics rig in my house, so I haven't been able to practice it. So that I know will sort of hurt later, but to be good at gymnastics, you also need to be pretty mobile. So I've been trying to work on that a bit more and actually see physios to do like the boring little rehab exercises so that I can come back stronger from it. But yeah, of course, like if you don't have access to everything, it's hard, but it's the same for everybody. Make do with what you have.
Like I think we talked about gymnastics earlier on, but like my wife's like a competitive gymnast in her day. Like she's incredible still. Can do the, like multiple cartwheels, and it just blows my mind, that capability.
Yeah.
I wish I had the mobility and strength that they do, and if I went back as a guy, I'd definitely go back, and gymnastics would 100% be in my training schedule. Now I'm as flexible as porcelain. It's a bit
Yeah, it's so important because it teaches you, gives you mobility, it gives you really good strength, but then also coordination. You have to be quite coordinated for gymnastics, and I'm not coordinated. It takes me a while to get things. For baseline for kids to start out in gymnastics, like for any sport, would be really beneficial. I think it'll push them ahead of the other kids in whichever sport they choose to do.
Yeah, I completely agree. Have you missed, when was the last time you competed? How long has it been since you...
I was thinking about that the other day because I didn't think it was that long ago, but I've done a few online qualifier competitions for different comps, but that's not really, you do that at your own gym, so I wouldn't call that a comp in front of a crowd. But the last time I did a comp was in Bali, in Indonesia. In December. So it feels like a really long time. And I think that's also why I lack a bit of motivation at the moment, because all the comps I had coming up have been either cancelled or pushed back to next year. So when you haven't got anything to work towards, it's hard to, when you're doing a hard session, it's hard to push.
Yeah.
Whereas if you've got a comp coming up, and even if it's 6 months' time and you're struggling, you just think about being on the floor at that comp and what would you do if you were there? You just pick up the bar. So, it's been a while since I've competed. So I'm pretty eager to do a local comp would be nice. But I don't know what's going to happen with that. I don't know if there'll be any comps anytime soon or what's happening, but it's been a while.
Obviously with your CrossFit Games, as a participant, competitor, which is an achievement in itself. It's like crazy. You've worn some of the load-bearing vests before. We got a TacTech plate carry out to you from 511. Wayne was good enough to sort of support that as well. But do you train much with these plates? Are you doing stuff like aerial, like off the bars, heaves and everything with the carriers, or
I really love using them to make anything a little bit harder. I've tried a few things. Strict pull-ups are really good.
Yeah.
Just because when we do, because in CrossFit we do kipping when we compete just because it's faster. But when you do strict pull-ups in one of those vests, you get so strong. And I've tried handstand push-ups, which is also really challenging, but heaps of body weight movement. So I'll do like, your standard push-ups and your squats and your pull-ups and run. Even doing like rowing or the air bike, wearing them, it restricts your breathing. So you sort of, like when you're, that feeling you get when you're training and you can't breathe, so you panic a bit and hyperventilate. Yeah. It gives you that almost straight away. So it teaches you to deal with feeling like that and just to keep going. Yeah. So I like adding that, especially during the lockdown. It's been really good to add to my training just to make it that little bit harder.
Yeah. And it's like you bring up the breathing, because it's one of the things, if we were showing people how to use like a vest for operational use, like, I mean, you used to be in a police, so you've worn one before operationally as well. But what you should be doing is putting that system on, taking a deep breath, so you've got a full lung expansion, and then making sure it's nice and tight. Then you can let the breath out. So you, because there's one of the failings a lot of people when they use those vests, they put it on and they cinch it up while they're not breathing heavy.
Yeah.
And it's actually, I mean, you really don't want to be restricting the muscularity, that function.
Yeah, move properly.
But not the restriction, so it's a good point you brought up there.
Yeah. I think I made a mistake the first time I wore my vest, or it was a vest. We had them at the gym and we were doing a workout, and it was like burpees, bike and running. And it was a really, really long workout, but I came in and I was so tired, and the vest was way too tight, and I was hyperventilating, and I was so tired I couldn't get it off. Like pulling the Velcro, it was too much. I just started crying because it was just like I was panicking big time. So I've never felt like that again, but it's good practice for when you are just completely exhausted and you've just got to breathe. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's really important to set them up properly. But it's funny, it's like, even in the law enforcement and military spectrums, like a lot of it's not done properly. Like people don't know there's actually a technique on how to set up your vest when you first put it on.
Yeah.
Equally as important, but because you're under so much duress training, it's actually why they're good for, like, especially if you've got first responders and military out there. I mean, they gravitate to it anyway, the ones that keep fit. But let's be honest, there's a lot that don't keep fit.
Yeah.
And we're trying to sort of get in front of that as well. So that sort of kit's pretty important.
I can imagine that would be pretty uncomfortable wearing a vest under your uniform if you're not fit, because for fit people it's hard work. So if you trained with it, it'd make your job so much easier.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I noticed, I can see a photo behind you. Is that you in your uniform?
Yes, this is me when I graduated from the academy, and my it is me with my nan and my great nan.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yes, it's one of my favourite photos now because they've both passed, but they were still around then. I was only 19 at the time, so a long time ago.
It's a young age to join police.
Yeah, very young.
So it's great to have athletes. You've got that veteran status from policing as well, and it's awesome to see that sort of. So, how did you go from law enforcement into what you do now? Obviously, you're really passionate about training people. What floats your boat in the industry, and how did you get in it?
After the police force, I did. My mum did real estate, so she I knew a bit about it already. So I did real estate for a long time, and then I always trained. I went to the gym and just did. I didn't really know what I was doing, but I did bodybuilding, and I've always been quite strong. So I did bodybuilding and I ran to keep fit because I used to do track and field as a kid. And then when I was about 20, I think I was 25, I got into American football. So I played football for a bit, but my position that I played, I was fullback. So I had to be, because I was one of the stronger girls, but I had to get stronger. So I started going to the gym and lifting really heavy. And I loved it. I found this guy in America and he wrote me a program to to get, because I needed to get stronger but also stay lean. So I followed his programming for about 6 months, and then I really got into learning about the programming and how the body works, and I just like loved everything about it. So I decided to study to do personal training, did the normal course, and then quit real estate, got into personal training and coaching group classes, and I did that in 2013, and then continued with the bodybuilding sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And then the American football training, because it was such a big group, it got training got cancelled a lot last minute. We had to move around a bit, so it was a little bit unstable because I'm all about consistency. And I wanted to try CrossFit for a long time, but like I think most people, I was really scared about going in. So I decided to go in at the lunchtime class because I knew it would be really quiet. And I did that twice a week, and then fell in love with that, dropped football, learned about CrossFit, and then just the coach, Kyle at Moorabbin, is such a good coach, and all the coaches at Moorabbin were really knowledgeable, and I learned heaps from them. And then it just sort of went from there. I was really passionate about it, and so now I sort of coach everything.
Yeah. So
yeah.
What was it like that elite CrossFit level, you know, at the CrossFit Games? You know, you're talking like, you know, just getting access to it is crazy.
Yeah.
You know, the requirements are like, you know, unheard of, really.
Yeah, and it's getting harder and harder to get in. When I went, I was in a team of 6. And at the time, I'd only been doing CrossFit for, I think, just over 2 years. So I hadn't even been doing it that long. But I could do all the movements well enough. But our team just worked together so well. So going from doing CrossFit for 2 years to the CrossFit Games was a massive, massive eye-opener in a good way.
Yeah.
But we definitely weren't the best team there. I think we came like 30th or something, which is still good, like 30th in the world. But it was just an eye-opener, as in when I got home, I was really motivated to work. And if I went now, like I'm a much better athlete now than what I was back then. So it just taught me, like I looked at what all the other athletes were doing and what they were eating and how they were warming up and like how focused they were. And when I came home, yeah, it just sort of set me up. Like I knew what I had to do. So from then on, every year I just do that little bit more, and I'm still learning every day different things. But it just opened my eyes to realize like how full on it is and how much work you have to do if you want to be at the top. And you can't take days off. If you're taking a day off, you've got to mobilize, or you've got to move or do yoga or like something.
Yeah.
But there's no actual day off.
Yeah.
Yeah, all year round.
Yeah, it's pretty full on, isn't it?
Yeah, it's full on. It's good for some people. Some people would hate it at that level, but yeah, keeps me out of trouble. So it's good.
Oh, before I let you go, it's like you know, for our customers especially, that are really obviously into their fitness and into their fitness products, you know, coming out of COVID, do you have any advice? Like, because I know I was like saying to myself the whole time when I was in the gym this week, it's like, don't try to do what I was doing, you know, 2 or 3 months ago. Just I was doing everything I can to remain calm. The good thing was I felt like remaining calm because my fatigue levels were quickly going out too. So what's your tips? I'd
say the same thing. What you said is right. Like, even though I've been training at home, when I go back into the gym, I don't expect to go back. Like, I wouldn't try to be the athlete I was 2-3 months ago. But that's such a big ego thing. Like, you need to just leave your ego at the door and build into it, because the chances of you getting injured when you go back to training are going to be really high because our bodies are just not conditioned to it. So I reckon for the first like 2 weeks to a month, just ease into things, and you just need to be patient. Don't overdo it, because I could see that there'd be a lot of injuries happen. So ego at the door, take one day at a time. Don't beat yourself up if you're not as fast or as strong. And just be happy to be moving. Like, if you can go to a gym, that's awesome. Enjoy it for moving again. Like, don't be so competitive, at least for the first month. be kind to yourself.
Well,
Even if it's hard.
But makes complete sense, and we look forward to sort of catching up with you a bit more often.
Yeah.
You're well aware we'll be launching a sort of a new brand. It's been around for a little while, Born Primitive, and it's got a great story. Because its history started in the US with US Special Forces. It's been brought into Australia by an Australian Special Forces veteran. You've been wearing the kit. So we look forward to launching that, across all our platforms with you as our ambassador there. So thanks so much for your time. And, especially for just the candid sort of way you go about your day to day, it's like awesome.
Yeah, thank you. I look forward to that. It should be fun.
Yeah. Well, we look forward to sort of seeing where you're at in the coming weeks too, and how you transition back into the gym. So
yeah, well, I'll definitely be open about it. That's for sure. Just because I think a lot of people will struggle with the same thing. So, I'll talk about it and remind people not to be too hard on themselves.
Cool.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you very much for your time, Tara.
That's okay. Anytime.
All right. We'll catch you soon.
Okay.